Hi guys, Troublemaker here, and this is Wargame Red Dragon. I have a pretty awesome match today on the map Straight to the Point, which is not a very awesome map. And this is actually from a tournament that is going on right now, a 1v1 tournament called, actually I forget the name of the tournament, but it's an economy tournament. All matches will be done economy, hence why we can see this weird, spending here and how they're spending their money appropriately. So this one is probably the most high-level one yet. First off, in the blue, we have our Brigadier General DuroSVK. I can't quote on exactly where he is on the ladder, somewhere in the top 100 or so. And of course, his opponent is going to be Firestarter. Firestarter has been around since Wargame European Escalation, has always been a pretty top player, and has always enjoyed doing some really weird and wonky things with his builds and with his playstyle. Now, since this is economy, there's a lot of weird, wonky strategies. In the first point, you have a 2-point base and a 3-point base. If you can capture both of those right away, you'll be very, very ahead on money. However, you'll fall behind tactically, because this 1-point base here will allow you a much faster route and rally, and allow you to push. And specifically, you have the advantage here. If you grab Hotel, you can get into Echo through these bases here and these bases here. And then you can slide into Delta and just kind of creep through this line. And similarly, you can do the same thing here at Charlie. Just kind of creep on through this line here. And pushing sometimes in an economy game works out very, very well, because that allows you to do that extra little bit to cripple your enemy. If you can kill off one command, say your opponent has 3 commands, you have 2 commands, you destroy 1 command in your opening push, you're now at equal, except now you have position, and you have an equal number of commands, so you can end up rallying at more commands. We have 1, 2, 3 commands out here for Duros as the game starts, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 for Firestarter. So 1 extra for Firestarter. So this is actually really ballsy in the meta play of the game and the game design. Packed push. Sorry, red 4 push. Red 4 get the early advantage. And that's one big reason why these maps are designed so asymmetrically. It's assumed that you're supposed to go much further and much deeper into the map. And however, the blue 4 push. They push you back. So for Firestarter to start off with 4 commands means that he is going to be pretty darned confident against Duros. And Duros is not a weak opponent by any means. And look how slowly this is just creeping along here. It so desperately wants to get to that point. And right away using that Z9A, super long range anti-helicopter helicopter. And he's just using them to pick off these helicopter recons here, which are being used to worry about the flanks. And not getting too greedy with them. He's not trying to push him too close, because there could be anti-air along these areas. It's unlikely, but it could be. Some people do like to do a little bit of bait and switching. And right off the bat, we're going to notice... oh, I made a horrible mistake. They're actually both playing red 4 here, in fact. This is a Spetsnaz crew. I feel silly. So both of them actually gain the same kind of pushing advantage. And this might, in fact, be the reason why we're seeing a 4-command start here. Give them the same advantage. Give them the same lacking ability to push. A static defensive position might work out pretty well. There's actually no defenses here at Foxtrot. So a little bit of opportunity to push. And generally speaking, a good way to go is to push with very few units to just kind of see what's going on here. And he knows there's nothing in these bushes now, because nothing's firing from that location. He does, in fact, see our east and west flanks, respectively. And here comes the Tonka Shao 85, which are similar to the Shma. They're these semi-long-range anti-tank weapons that have very, very strong rate of fires and very, very strong damage. And looks like both BDV should survive. Actually, these Tonka shoes are actually doing quite good, and 1 survives, and 1 could be enough. Now he is going to send on this recon probably to go hunt this out. But oh, T-72A creeping around the corner here. Going to wipe out all the vehicles here for Firestarter and continue to push forward. There is a recon tank here, or sorry, recon vehicle with some moderate anti-tank abilities just sitting back here. He's going to rally it away. He should keep that one alive pretty easily, actually. With the recon, he gets extra stealth, which means it won't be able to fire for as long. And these 3 VDVs are going to probably scare Firestarter just a little bit and force him to spend a lot more money than he is. And it looks like Duros might be banking here already. He's up to 80 points. He's got all 4 of his commands out right now. And his push is actually going quite strong. Kind of a weird meta for economy. Oh, nope, he has just spent his money. But generally, the better you do, the less you spend. And actually, little misstep here. He didn't get a command here at 3. He instead got it at 2. Because if you get it at this 3-point base, you're getting 3 points per second. And yeah, he's still trying to play that way that I'm talking about, driving in to Foxtrot and then into Alpha. And that's the kind of directionalism he's going for here. But finally, some Yuk Dai have been deployed, so these VDVs should get shut down relatively soon. And this one really well-positioned recon tank here will be picking up a lot of these BTRDs, which is rather shocking. And giant volley of weaponry firing here at the BTRDs. And this is actually quite a few. This is 2 Tanke Xiaoshu squads here. They're 5-man squads. And right behind them actually is going to be an anti-air squad. And yeah, the VDVs will in fact run into the Yuk Dai, and that will shut down that. Now currently Firestarter is in the lead in terms of points. Will he continue spending? Turns out the answer is in fact yes. And we'll have to see how long it takes for these guys to actually start earning money. Now, one of the things about these games that can be a little bit funny is that eventually you can run out of units. And when that happens, you end up doing funny things, and oh my god, this is so good. So he's bringing in a command into Echo. This is a very unique way of getting in. Instead of taking his 3-point advantage, well, he doesn't have a 3-point advantage, but he has an income advantage right now. He's going to neutralize Echo and force Duros into the position that he has to push. Because worth noting, Firestarter has taken this position here. He has forces in good positions everywhere. Tanke Xiaosu to cover these bridges here. He has a Yuk Dai to cover these forests. So there's actually no way to get a command in to neutralize this point. He's going to force Duros to fight him. And Duros is more or less prepping. He is getting tanks, and tanks are a very good unit for this. And there we go, the neutralization has taken place. And worth noting, it's basically not even in the zone here. It's just, slightly, it's the angle here. You can see from this angle. It's just slightly in there, grazing, touching, but from the standard angle, it barely looks like it's inside there. And that's very perfect positioning. It will not get artillery. It will not get randomly bombed. It's just too far away back. And we'll have to see what Duros has in mind. And Smirch, he says, is the answer. He does have a full fob here. So maybe we'll see some other artillery coming out from Firestarter relatively soon as well. This Smirch can get pretty nasty, specifically when it gets some of those lucky hits. Right now, it's probably going to be corrected shots just to try and wipe out those front lines. I mean, generally speaking, if you can burn through the enemy's units, he's forced to buy more units, which in turn means he's spending more money, which in turn means he has less money. This 3-point advantage will allow Firestarter to continue rallying out units while still gaining the income lead. It just means that he'll be splitting off the units that he gets out. And it looks like both players are banking here. And clearly, Firestarter is going to have a slight advantage with that. This can get pretty crazy. Another weird thing with the economy, and you're kind of seeing it happen right now, as the game goes on, the actual number of points that you need to win goes down. So right now, Firestarter is doing what we call the Jeopardy strategy. In a good Jeopardy match, Jeopardy being an American game show with Alex Trebek, questions, you have to answer with questions, and you get the answer. The goal of Jeopardy is actually not to win. The goal of Jeopardy is actually to tie. And so he's getting out units in an attempt to tie here. He's not really caring about the win just yet. And what he's going to do is allow for his opponent to lose. And you know, it's a rather brilliant way of playing it. Here comes the Smirch firing up its first rounds. What's he going to go for here? Does he go for the brilliant position? Oh my god, he knows him so well, yes. Gonna go ahead and try and knock at this position. Worth noting, all guns are turned off. That's just like simple good habits. And unfortunately, these are infantry, and infantry have take little to no damage from these smirch shots. Like, you would need to have one canister land directly on top of one infantry for to do any damage. He's actually going to need to get out some sort of tube artillery or mortars to do some damage against that particular command unit. He is panicked, you know, that's scary and whatnot, but not scary enough. And, you know, look at this. He's going to push across here. He's taking his income advantage and going across here. And like I said, he's allowing Duros to lose. And Duros is having to spend unit money to deflect a lot of this attention and deflect a lot of this action here. And it looks like he's going to pull back these BTR 60 PPs. Good choice, of course, because you don't want those to die. T-72A in the distance. He might be considering, yes, moving some tanks into flanking position. That's exactly what he went there for. And now this T-72A will not be able to push forward without taking some retribution shots from the ZTZ-85 tube. Or, as my American counterparts like to say, or maybe the Canadians say this, Z? Which ones say it? I'm so confused. I grew up on an American Army base. I have no idea. But this one should get wiped out if it doesn't pull back. Yeah, pulls back just in time. Took 4 shots there. Basically shouldn't have survived that, but did. A little bit of RNG in his favor with 1 hit point left. Yeah, that's some random numbers generator action right there. And looks like Firestarter has ended his spending spree. He's going to get out some situational units. I assume he's going to go pretty heavily on Air Force. And it looks like, yeah, a lot of supplies. Supplies are pretty cheap. He's also got this full fob here he hasn't quite used yet. He might be thinking about getting an artillery piece or two and just drain that tank. So just to, you know, keep things going. This economy tournament was basically put on the forum. It actually went right over me, because usually when there's a tournament going on, people are in my face like, hey man, tournament, you know, but in this case, I hadn't heard a word about this. It, you know, came and went. And, yeah, there's a nice bit of high-profile talent. And other than the Flash tournaments, because there's a Griffer, he's got the channel Count Griffer. If you go to my channel page, you'll see it on the right there. He put on Flash tournaments. Those were one-day tournaments. This one, I guess he'd call it the first tournament of Wargame Red Dragon. And I think 1v1 is perfect, because I think this game plays really, really well for 1v1. I don't think Airland Battle was a 1v1 game. I think Airland Battle was heavy team, and 1v1 was just really unfun. But I think Red Dragon plays really well with 1v1. I think the size of the maps works really well. The fact that you're managing so many flanks and you have so many opportunities for moving in, I think that worked really well. And so choosing to make this a 1v1 tournament, I think was a great choice. I think if they made it a team tournament, I think that would have been a mistake, because I generally feel that the team maps are, mind my French, shit. I think they're shit. They're just not very good. So anyway, in the meantime, Firestarter has landed a Lee Ren recon squad over here on the top west, I guess just pure west actually when you look at the map, pure west side. And how he's going to move this around is kind of questionable. And it's worth noting, like, he's trying to gain vision. So he has control of this ocean here. He took control of this ocean, and then he moved his other, this Z9A all the way to this bottom side. So any kind of sneaky actions here by DuroSVK, he's going to catch. Now, right now, Duros is focusing on neutralizing. And he's actually forced one command to move into place from fear of smirch fire. And those smirches, like I said, they can get pretty nasty, especially if these little cheapy commands. You look at this one, he has 0 armor. He will get one shot by a random smirch shot. But, you know, without a corrected shot, it becomes very, very, very difficult. I'm kind of surprised we're not actually seeing any kind of artillery coming out from Firestarter. But like I said, Firestarter likes to do things that are not quite meta. He likes to play his own style. The fact that he's playing as, you know, this very wonky little mixed deck here is you know, by itself kind of wonky. And he's got lots of units representing almost all the nations from the pact here. Truly a multinational man. And these Lee Red probably should get spotted by his BDRM3 if they get too close. My thought is the second he crosses right here, the BRDM3 should be able to see it. But having said that, who knows? Worth noting in 1v1, it's actually considered to be a very good play to have light anti-air guns protecting your main base along the flank. Because these sort of air cheapy plays are just way too common in 1v1, specifically in ranked. So anyone plays a lot of ranked, and DuroSVK plays a ton of ranked, they generally try to get some sort of cheap unit, like the Afghansky, 20 points, that can do some damage to air units. And so far, Firestarter is just kind of stacking these units here. No word as to whether he'll actually use them or not, of course. Yeah, he's actually just going to sit on his bank for now. Okay, so we're going to see a mortar come out, and this is actually the right choice. Because he's been hitting a lot of targets with these smirches with basically no successes. So he has to know there's a lot of infantry out there, not a lot of vehicles. So if he can do that, he'll be fine. But here comes the all-in. Now, it's not really an all-in. He's got 700 bones sitting around. This is a pressure tactic. Any opportunity you get to pressure your opponent in this game mode is awesome. And so just in terms of micro here, because Firestarter is a European escalation player, European escalation players were very heavy on micro, because the average match in European escalation was like 12 to 14 minutes, and it was all about how well you controlled your ground units and micro them against helicopters and whatnot. So, he has Z9As. Z9As are 25-point carrier planes for the Lee Ren. In the back, he has the Mi-25. That's a 60-point North Korea. It's got the Fleta, which is a missile, and it's got rocket bots. He also has, just for fun, a Z9A TY-90. So he's got helicopters. These Z9As lead the charge into the Afghanskis. Now he's only expecting one, right? And he's got them all spread apart so that if it's actually a rocket, the rocket will fly in and not hit area of effect damage. The idea is to bait attacks on these two units, and then come in with your Mi-25s and rock the anti-air units. Now let's see if this actually works out, because this is actually two anti-air units, and one of them is actually concealed, which means that it'll be very hard to spot it. And so we have some clumping going on here. It doesn't actually matter because these are Afghanskis, they do not do area of effect damage. And here they come in, they'll be flying over the Afghanskis now. Hitting the right unit is the Afghansky. Gets one hit point worth of damage. One unit will go down, though. One of those Z9As. And he's going to fly right on in the middle here. And he's targeting down the Smirch, actually. There is actually an Afghansky right on top of the UAZ. And you know, you're looking at this going like, oh my god, he wasted 120 points. Not exactly. He now knows the entire innards of the base. Like, I don't think he knows the command positioning. But he knows where this Afghansky is. He knows where this fob is. Whoa, he's moving close to that command. Will he see it? Now, he's all out of his fletas, so you can't, you know, rain death and destruction. And looks like standard Strela being pulled back here to deal with this, and will not actually see the command. But he did get rid of that Smirch. Smirches are quite expensive. He does have position on an Afghansky, and he does have position on the fob. So if he were to rally out, you know, artillery or bombers or anything like that, he could just level these areas and they'd be taking out piecemeal. Now, in the meantime, we have had a naval landing here in the middle, and looks like it is a Bak Chong Su, and it looks like he's going to try and evacuate. These Spetsnaz are quite powerful. They don't have quite the strength they need to deal with vehicles, but apparently the Afghansky does. God love the autocannon. As well, getting a little bit of love and support from the VDV here. And will it be a full evacuation? Will the Bak Chong Su go back into the WZ-551? Probably. Yeah, maybe. Do we have a plane? Oh, we have the B-5 bombers. B-5s are a huge favorite right now. Everyone just stockpiles their B-5 bombers and actually levels the entire area. So good on him, I guess. And it looks like a plane goes down. Yeah, it looks like it goes down. It's always fun to see planes crash, I like to think. And this one's going to crash on the side of the mountain. That guy's, there's no way he's surviving, because even if he survived the crash, he's not going to be able to climb down that mountain. Not a chance. It's China. Actually, I think Straight to the Point is based on Japan. I think. Yeah, I think it is. So now with that cleared out, he's going to move his forces up. There is a BMPT here. BMPTs are huge, huge, huge anti-infantry vehicles. They got those that frag weapon, and the Legion is just like, oh shit. The Legion is an anti-infantry. It doesn't quite have the tools it needs to defeat this BMPT, and Duros knows he has an advantage here. He's going to go ahead and move his BMPT right on up there, try and smack that Bok Chung Su right in the face. A optical failure, that's not good. 2 minutes is quite a brutal punishment for something like that. That gives the Bok Chung Su a small advantage in that kind of engagement. And note the Li Ren did go into an engagement with that BRDM recon vehicle, was able to destroy it. And now there's a helicopter just kind of sitting along here. So now we're going to see some more non-linear fighting path here for this recon unit. Now at this point in the game, obviously these mortars should be non-stop firing. That Smirch, God rest its soul, could have been really used right now just to kind of spam. It says 19-minute marker, but unless Firestarter spends a ton of money, like it's not gonna be. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not. It says 19 minutes have passed, but yeah, unless Firestarter spends a lot of money, it's really, really difficult for Duro to come back from this. He's going to need to have a big push. Now, he is stockpiling a decent number of tanks. When you get into these heavy tank pushes, they become very, very hard to stop. Because a generally tactical person is going to take a position and then fortify with defensive positions. The more ground you take, the larger your ground is. And in this case, there's a slight zigzag pattern here, which makes the line of Firestarter slightly worse. He's going to use these mortars to try and break the enemy, using them on any kind of position he has. The HQ7 should die here. Yes, it does. And he'll be pushing up probably sooner rather than later, by the looks of it. And just being the good player that he is, he did his mortar. He moved. Now, oh my God, did you see that? That is what we call a little bit of juke and jive, baby. He did one little juke, is all he did. Now, here comes the second one. Third one, sorry. Because guess what? You probably know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. In the meta of the game, you can dodge bombs. So everyone will dodge your bomb, will micro. So, you send in multiple bombers so that it's absolutely impossible, even with perfect micro, for that one unit to survive. You spend about 400 points to get rid of a unit that costs like 10 points, 20. It's retarded, but it's a huge part of the meta. It makes these kind of pushes super, super successful. No, the Bok Chung Su is still in position here. He can actually kind of come along here. And lots of infantry coming in. The BMPT is going to try and find a good position. Looks like he does. And you'll be able to clean up these vehicles as well as fire on these Yukjon Dais. Now, generally, you want to kind of move back into some positions where the BMPT can't get. Like this Yukjon Dai should move back to this kind of ground here. It looks like the BMPT is actually at range right now. So we have a lot of infantry and some vehicles to try and reclaim this ground. Very, very difficult to take back towns. And it looks like we have some more of these JSHs coming in here. I'm told it's not pronounced H, it's pronounced H. In my dialect, we add the letter H to everything that begins with an E or an A. And it looks like the B-5 bomber does go down. The SC-275, though, flying overhead. Actually, no anti-air available at all to take that out. That is brutal. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a supply truck just come over to this HQ-7 right away. Book is also out of supplies here. I'm not seeing any new units coming out here from Firestarter, actually. Those were just units that he's had for quite a while, and he's been slowly using his bombers trying to get into that position. And here we go, a few more units. Looks like we're going to see some more of these Tanke Chasseurs, and we're going to see some more QW1s coming out here. And he's just going to try and fortify this position a little bit better. Oh. Down and out. Down and out. Oh my god, that was so close. He almost landed right on top of this recon tank. Oh my god. That's the random stuff. And here comes some Yak 38s running into a very, very large anti-air line right now, though. And here comes the big game-ending push that we're looking at. And by game ending, I don't simply just mean that the game will end, because really they can just sit around forever. I mean that if this isn't successful, Duros might as well just leave. Now he does have these Spetsnaz Gurus and these BDBs moving in with this awkward combined arms push, and we're going to see some air support coming in here. This is an anti-air vehicle, an air superiority fighter being picked off by a superior of its type, and it does in fact get away, looks like. But yeah, once you get these giant armored columns, it becomes very, very difficult to stop, specifically when you get lots of air support here. Tanke chassis, not dying, but they are blocked off. The fire here is enough to actually smoke out the area and prevent them. There is a single WZ-550 just going to be nailing things in distance. It's already gone through quite a bit of supplies here, and right now his priority is getting rid of these infantry carriers, right? Because these tanks, these tanks have you know, they are very strong, they're very important, but these infantry carriers carry the infantry, which will hold these towns, and if you can get rid of those, it's a matter of rallying out helicopters, anti-tank helicopters, to do the rest. And looks like this move is actually enough to force Firestarter to spend a lot of his dollar bills. Now, if Duros can get a good position in this forest here, you can put a command here, you can put an infantry command here. There's a few positions you can place them in. It's a little bit harder in these asymmetrically balanced places. And look at the mortar fire going to nail this WZ. WZ moves so fast, though. Dear God, Firestarter is so good. He would have to seen those in the air, attributed the leg, and moved very, very quickly to get out of there. And he escapes just in time, repositioning himself to try and to continue the good fight. And basically, for this angle, he needs the WZ-550 to kind of hit in through here. Probably will not be able to. Heavy tank able to wipe out those infantry as well. And it looks like a lot of money being spent by Firestarter. He's going to drop some bombs here. There is no anti-air cover, so he can freely bomb this area. He's going to get rid of the Motostrelkis in the least. Oh my god. Still 6 of them left. Like half a squad, basically. He's going to be rallying out. Looks like anti-infantry or napalm infantry will be coming in here. Qian, I think J's are pronounced with a CH. Li Qian going to be coming out. And he's got a fairly high number of these Chinese tanks coming off the lines here. Looks like some North Korean trooper. And he's actually going to continue doing this little push here. A huge advantage right now for Firestarter. If he can push down here, take it this command, he can wipe out the reinforcement path and encircle these units. I don't believe the same opportunity is available here for Duros. He has to cut through this forest here, which has a mountain on it. I guess he could go through this way, though. That's possible. I guess. But just the number of units here by Duro is overwhelming. These bombs are trying to push back the enemies as much as possible. We got miss and a miss here. 2 misses. Not what we want to see. And these are actually going to be Feng Hua Bings. Much cheaper, less effective unit, and the position here on this WZ-550 is excellent, getting lots of great pot shots off here. And for a second there, I thought time froze. Jeez. Yeah, looks like he's probably gonna get knife. No, looks like he lost vision for a second there. There's no recon in this unit, so it's really hard for these guys to use their maximum range shots right now. But it looks like he's very successful in pushing completely at a Foxtrot. Command? Do we see a command being rallied out? No, not yet. He's put Firestarter back about 300 or 400 bones. That's never good. And we're going to see a BTR 80A push in here. And like I always say, when you've cleared out one ground, push a little bit further. Find out where the new demarcation line is. And in this case, he's going to find out it's right here. Now, a lot of you are going to look at this and go like, oh god, that's such a waste. But no, it's not a waste. Right now, he's figuring out exactly where the enemy is. Oh, BMPTs. Oh, no. He's using Spetsnaz against WZ-551s. You know, this is closer to an even comp fight than you think it is. The WZ-551 doesn't exactly have the best weapons for dealing with Spetsnaz. With the Tanke chassis, however, it will be, you know, over and Tunguska finally getting moved up here. Should end the bombing. Hurrahs. Oh my god. Anti-tank weapon. I see what's happening. They're actually, it's not freezing in time. They're actually dipping into the ocean here. They're falling out and falling straight into the ocean. So now the BMPT is going to move up. Probably move back. He's a little low on health. But the next attack here will be on Alpha, looks like. Because it looks like Duro is not looking to actually fall back. He is getting a new command in. Probably going to put it somewhere in this forest here. Also, that could be a too obvious location. Might even put it at the tip right here, which is a little scary of a position to put it. And, God, these positions on these Lee Ren are so good. He's got 2 of them set up here. And he will be able to see units that are getting rallied out from Bravo, which means the defensive position for Echo. And might even be able to make a play at this. So we have a command getting moved in here. This could be a really funky play. I don't know where I know where he's going to put it. Right here. He's going to put it right here because he can actually get around here, or like right here. And he can wipe out Delta. That is so funny. He is such a funny guy, you know. He's got a good sense of humor. I like him. So, we're back to the mortar game. And with the mortar game, you want to shell out a location to weaken it a bit. And as you can see right here, Firestarter is also looking to see weakness, pushing his borders just to see what's there. Turns out not a lot. 15 Spetsnazes can be quite scary. Looks like Yak 38s can be bombing basically nothing right now. A little bit of napalm on the road never hurt anyone though. And this amphibious vehicle is going to try and find a new angle of attack here. Yeah, it might go in through a back door of some sort. That could be quite scary. Dear Lord, oh no, 275k, do not die. Survives the day. One last missed shot from the Book will let him dry, and constant supplies here from the Book. I have to give Duro props. I know I've been beefing up Firestarter on a lot of these plays because they have been very good. Duro has been way more consistent with his supplies. There's almost never been a position where he hasn't actually had like these Books full. Him having emptied right now, it's been rare. And looks like this WZ is going to get caught off guard. Should die by sea, pulling back. Has everything failing right now. There's no reason for this to actually escape. But yes, it does pull out of range. So we have our command landed. Now keep in mind, these command infantry are very, very slow moving, so we won't see Delta get cancelled for quite some time. But it is actually a really interesting play. Very risky as well, because it's actually really easy to remove that with a recon helicopter of some sort. But that will, in the least, force a huge investment from Duro, because here's the thing: if you invest $100 or 100 bones on an infantry command, and your opponent invests 130 on a recon helicopter to kill it, that recon helicopter only had one purpose, and that was killing off that command. It's win, 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 win. It's really hard to lose with these command infantry being played like this, and actually gets a shot off on the air superiority fighter will wipe it out. So that's the last air superiority fighter here from Duro. And we might see Bombzilla happening soon on this front here. It's a very, very weak front. He's aware of this. Having said that, this is also a very weak front, and there isn't really an effort here by Firestarter to actually beat this up. He's actually going to try and stay on the offensive. He's actually repositioned a command in the woods here to neutralize this point. Basically, his way of saying, like, yeah, you gain ground, but I'm still fine. So Duro doesn't actually move ahead, unfortunately, after this push, and especially with Delta being neutralized. He does go on par. He's going to have to do a little more work. If he can wipe out a command for a significant amount of time, he could potentially come back from this. Oh, good. Rallying many command supply trucks here. I was getting kind of worried because everything on his front line is starting to run out of supplies, and he could run into that typical Nazi problem of. And Duro is not a Nazi. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the Nazis had a problem during World War II with fuel supplies. When they pushed into France, they ran out of fuel. When they ran into Russia, they ran out of fuel. They always just ran out of fuel, and that stalled their pushes. That's all I'm saying. If I'm saying anything at all. Yeah, Yak 38 being deployed here. Yak 38s are one of these first awesome units from Airland Battle. Exceptionally cheap, exceptionally crappy, however. They're not a multi-purpose fighter. And here comes the SU-27 SK to try and clean these out of the sky, and one shot is good, the second shot is stunning, and he actually has not enough ground base to clean this up. He is forced to pull that back. Yeah, actually has basically no ground-based air units here. This HQ-7 has been empty for basically 20 minutes now. That's a little bit of his play. It's a little bit sloppy. He could have got that yak if he had properly done a supply line. It looks like this cargo is actually trying to get through these woods to his HQ-7. He's aware of his problems. He just doesn't have the logistics to fix it. So small infantry pushing here, largely unsuccessful. Will get pushed out by Moto Shiriki, and that's awesome T-64 variant. And yeah, this is the sneaky place, and Afghansky actually going to move in here. Unfortunately, this WZ-551 is driving this Afghansky here. So he may be creating his own doom and gloom situation right here. Having said that, there's also not a lot of anti-air ground-based here. So he should be able to just bomb this stuff with his B5s and his J something. I forget the variant of bomber that he's chosen. The known SVKs are going to go ahead and shell out what here exactly? Oh yes, looks like they were going for a cargo base off. Destroying cargoes can be quite valuable because these supplies are very valuable. And note that Firestarter is playing purely defensively right now. He doesn't have spare parts turned on. He doesn't have fuel. He only has ammunition, because ammunition is his best tool right now. He can use his WZ and his HQ-7 to kill a lot of things. They're static defenses. You don't really need to resupply them in terms of parts because they get one shot anyway. You don't need to resupply them in terms of fuel because they're not going to move anywhere else. And that's just good, solid management. And similarly, but also different from Duro's, you can see that he has ammunition and spare parts turned on. He doesn't need fuel because he's not going that far. He's making a small push. But he does need spare parts because he is making a push. He does need to have his troops at full health. And, oh my god, he actually did get that supply truck there. So will not be able to supply up, fully supply these units. Will lose a little bit of supply. He does still have the FOB, which is mostly full right now. Might have been a poor investment on his part, given that this is an income game. But also, given that this is an income game, maybe it was a good investment, who knows. And a small infantry squad getting pushed into the town here. It's mostly a useless town, actually. It doesn't do much. And he's actually moved his command infantry around a funny path so that it get within range of that Li Ren. And yeah, he's probably going to place it somewhere on the border. This is going to cause a scatter by Duro. He's going to want to get it a recon. A recon helicopter is the best bet because you want to get that point back as fast as possible. Recon, and they can also see over a lot more, whereas the vehicles are very slow, sluggish. They take their time going through trees and bushes. It can just get pretty bad pretty fast. Looks like he's going to move up these Afghanskis and T-72As to a position to actually strike something. WZ-550 from the shore. Going to get some wicked shots here. Misses, unfortunately. And almost killed his own Li Ren, actually. Will he get the Afghansky? He does. He does. And he's going to neutralize that point. Some of these amphibious units that Firestarter are using is just absolutely bizarre. I don't really know a lot of people who actually use amphibious anti-tank missiles on the ocean to wipe out tanks that are sitting along the ocean. He kind of made the game work that way on his own. By the way, this tank Shashu should die pretty easily, getting wiped out, and the ZCZ-85 should pull back. There is a little bit of hidden vision on the bridge that he can abuse. 1 hit point left on the VDB, and dead. But he does get the T-72. So it's making small inroads here, but having said that, Duro is preparing for a pretty large push soon. So this point is officially neutralized. There's actually nothing here. Here comes the helicopter we're talking about. He didn't get the recon variant. He got the Mi-24P, which is still quite expensive. It's 80 points. Command is 100. So there was no way for Firestarter to lose here. Even if he loses this command, he still wins. Because this helicopter is basically useless. They're very, very limited roles. And It's really hard to lose. And, ooh, this Lee Ran might actually be able to do a little bit of defense here. Wow, that is brutal. Here comes the Yak 38s. No anti-air here, of course. Can't be. Will he bomb his own helicopter? That can actually happen. It would be scary if that happened. Napalm in the north. Okay, so he thinks that the command is here, which is smart because that's actually where everyone would put it. But it's actually right here, and he doesn't know that. Nobody knows that. And he's forced to actually rally out even more here, so this is getting even more costly. So we're looking at about, give or take, a 230-point investment to remove a 100-point command here. And this is just a really wonky logic here for economy. Ooh, it looks like he's lost a command here at Foxtrot. This gives Duro a slight income advantage, probably, I'm going to say +1. Am I right? I think I'm right. It's a +1 advantage. In the meantime, this will not hold for so long, but the longer it holds, the better it is for him. Looks like he's going to get a new command in right away. He's going to have to find a brand new skeevy position. This one clearly not good enough. And running low on units here, actually. This might give Duro his ability to come back here. It's getting harder and harder, though, because worth noting, we started off at almost 3,000 points to gain, and now we're down to around getting closer to the 1,900 points to gain. So it won't be long before one player can just sit back, put his thumb inside of his buttocks, and wait. And with the DuroSVK, gonna go ahead and fire. Probably gonna go for a command kill, a blind command kill. I'm gonna say. Or, nope, going for this little ZTZ here. Okay. So here comes the cleanup crew. The BMP2 will be mostly invulnerable to either of these units. They have moderate amounts of anti-tank weapons, but not really enough to do anything. 20 modal Strelkys moving in here with a BMP-1D, which also has that frag weapon. So basically, like, a little bit of an over-exaggeration forced here. Command instantly dead. So we have a regained income advantage. Sorry, back to neutrality now that this point has been recaptured. So tactically, what will be the best? Well, I think if Firestarter sits, he can win this. I think even if Duro pushes, he can't. I just think Firestarter has to cut the spending and be a little bit more frugal with his investments right now. Oh my god, that is such a bad position of Yukjiondai. Gonna wipe out some Spetsnaz crew. Book will be pulled back to survive the day. So if you're newer player to the game, you're probably asking like, oh man, you know, everyone's always talking about the seed and the radar planes and whatnot. How come we haven't seen any seed planes in this game? Well, the honest to God truth is that when you're one of the better players in the game and you're playing against a better player in the game, the best players in the game actually turn off their radar religiously. And you can't kill any. You'll never get your value out of a seed plane. So at the highest levels, you will never see a seed plane because everyone turns off their radar. But there's kind of a counter to this because no one's using seed plane. Everyone actually keeps on the radar until they see that seed plane, which they'll never see, of course, because it's a bad investment. Seed planes are really good against players who don't know how to micro, but against these higher level players that have a really, really strong micro, you end up not seeing as many. So this little middle push here is actually kind of deadly, actually, given the position of this command armor here. And this QW1, oh my god, just got another plane kill. And the squads are so low here that's actually really hard to kill them with napalm. Does get the kill though, of course, because it's only 2 squads. And will he get the command kill here? No, he's actually going for that modal Strelky. So he doesn't actually see the command just yet. Nah. But yeah, if he gets this command here with these limited number of forces, that could be, you know, a total GG. I would rage quit from that. It's just absolutely angry. Actually, with the, I don't even know if he has bombers left. He have to warp them around in funny ways because Tunguska's here. He'd have to go around this way all the way over to here. It would take a long time to do that, but I think he could, or even on the southern flank he could do that. But that's not where he's pushing, so he shouldn't support that. Here comes... Oh, no. Is this the... Okay, it's not bad. I thought he was going to do what I said he was going to do, and I realized Firestarter is not listening to me right now. And Firestarter will, in fact, just be bombing out some of these infantry. Gets a big ol' miss. And a MiG-27 actually coming out here. MiG-27s have the SALH, which allows them to deal with tanks and vehicles and all that good jazz. Hasn't gotten any good use this game. Just not really a lot of tanks being deployed here by Firestarter. And, yeah, Firestarter's been actually very infantry heavy on that infantry, and has been using it to push out in a lot of interesting and odd locations. Has been playing a lot of flanks, and looks like Duros does in fact tap out. You know, the kills kind of tell the story. You have 25% less kills here for Duro. Played very well. 1,000 down on command points. Unfortunately, just ended up not having the total number of units here. And a win for Firestarter allows him to move forward in this tournament. And next week, I'll probably have another game from this tournament, probably deeper into the bracket. And I'll be honest, we might not see a competition like this. These are both two fantastic players. There's not a lot of talent left in that tournament after you lose Duro. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Trollmaker, and I'll see you guys next week.